Episode 7 The scientific research ship Seashell sets sail for the first time. January 21, 2026 AD. Emiwai Guangwu was at the cabin door of the spaceship, and together with Kawagami Hakuren, who was standing beside him to help. He finally checked the passenger list in his hand, confirmed that all passengers had boarded the ship, closed the cabin door, and shouted into the transmitter next to the door, "Report to Captain. Passengers have boarded the ship and the cabin door has been closed." 宝島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で "Please return to the deck." The answer from the BIWG Guan came through the earphones. MUIE Guan will return to the deck, where BIWG Guan and Henian Songzu were already waiting for him. "Is it ready to sail?" MUIE Guan will ask. BIWG Guan looked at the checklist on the electronic screen of the console and read, "There is no abnormality on the bottom floor. The hatch has been closed and locked. There is no abnormality on B1 on the underground floor." 宝島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で "There is no abnormality on B3 on the third underground floor. The hatch closed and locked." And Enian Songs reported, 125 people responsible for catering and life services have entered the rest area of B2 on the second underground floor. The cabin door of B2 on the second underground floor has been closed. 80 passengers, 20 reporting people, and 25 service staff have already arrived, already resting on for floors. 宝島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で "Everyone is in position and ready to set sail." BIWG Guan instructed. 宝島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で In front of the bridge in the middle sits the northern highway Aurora. In front of the fire control console on the left, MUIE Guan was sitting. In front of the monitoring and communication console on the right. 宝島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で BIWG Guan announced the sailing announcement through the public address system, and then pressed the sailing button. After a long whistle, the spacecraft slowly rose vertically away from the ground amid a huge roar, hovering in the air more than 500 meters above the ground. On the ground, in the seaside bar, there were crowds of spectators watching the launch of the spacecraft. BIWG Guan piloted the spacecraft and slowly circled the launch site 3 times at low altitude. He made several maneuvers and fired a salute from the main gun in response to the cheering people on the ground. 宝島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で It accelerated to a high altitude. 10 minutes later, the spacecraft had flown out of the blue atmosphere and entered the dark space. After the second acceleration, the spacecraft got rid of the gravity of the Earth and embarked on the journey to Mars. 宝島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で There is the invisible space, and the Earth behind it already looks like a small dot. The stars in the sky are not like the twinkling stars seen on the ground. What attracts MUIE Guan Wuanden, Enian Songzu most is the Milky Way, where the stars are so densely packed that they seem to be close to each other. BIWG Guan broadcast to the whole ship through the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is BIWG Guan, the captain of our ship. My partners Mitsutake Makino and Songzu and Enian and I are at your service. Welcome all passengers to Mars. Spaceship." 宝島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で "We have left our home on Earth, and the spacecraft is on its way from Earth to Mars. From now on, the restrictions during the departure phase will be lifted. Passengers can leave their seats and move freely. They can return to their cabins to sleep or rest. The restaurant of the spacecraft will also start to provide services later. When the spacecraft travels in space, there is no distinction between day and night. However, in order to keep the human body's biological clock from being disrupted, lights are used on the spacecraft to simulate the day and night changes on the Earth. The time of the clock on the spacecraft is based on Japan's time. Please attention, fellow travelers. For additional information about this trip to Mars, please refer to the brochures distributed in each room. What everyone sees, the log under transparent protective cover surrounding the spacecraft, is the small universe of the spacecraft. This is a sub-universe of the universe we usually live in. In this small universe, there are different physical laws from the outside, and our voyage can be understood as the sliding or drifting of the sub-universe in the parent universe. There is no limit to the speed of light. It can sail in both time and space coordinates, and during this voyage, Everyone will not feel violent acceleration and be pressed against the back of the seat. Because of the small universe and the free control of the small universe, everyone can now feel the same gravity as the Earth. You can walk on the open deck without wearing a spacesuit and breathe almost the same air as on the Earth. The small universe also shields everyone from cosmic rays and defends against including the impact of space junk. However, in order to allow everyone to experience the journey to Mars with Earth's technology, for today's voyage, we do not use space-time engines for propulsion, but use the same traditional jet propulsion engines as spacecraft on Earth. A few days will also be arranged in the middle of the trip, using this method, so everyone can experience the modern technology of the Earth and the feeling of traveling to Mars with a chemical fuel rocket-propelled spacecraft. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グリュートだをジェット発射基地で、The spaceship has arranged a special event for everyone. Passengers and reporting personnel who are willing to participate are asked to gather on the upper deck. We will organize a tour of the spacecraft, introduce our spaceship and the arrangements for this trip, and then answer the passengers' questions. MUIE Guam were reported to be Idaluji Guam on the bridge. The crew is almost here and we can start. The Idaluji Guam looked at the guests gathered around, stood up, and began to introduce. This is the central command room, with the flight deck of the spaceship. Everyone has seen it. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グリュークがロケット発射基地で、チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グリュークがロケット発射基地で、チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グリュークがロケット発射基地で、Spacecraft Management and Firepower Management of the spacecraft. The control is here. The Ideology One explained. However, the spacecraft is automatically driven by artificial intelligence, except for takeoff and landing, or in emergencies. There is actually no need for personnel to guard the space. Please follow me over here, Murora said, guiding everyone to a large round table at the back. Please come closer and come closer. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で、Its core is a quantum computer. Its name is the Huanqian. It can communicate with people through voice and video, and all automated facilities on the spacecraft, such as mining and material supply systems, flight control systems, weapon control and attack and defense systems, reconnaissance systems, and propulsion systems, are all controlled by it. It's the real steward of the ship. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、Let me show you how to use this system, the Ideology Guang said, pulling out the sword and placing it on the disc. The gems on the disc and the sword sparkle. The Ideology Guang explained. The steward and the sword are verifying each other and establishing a connection. Once the connection is established, the sword and the steward establish a synchronization. This synchronization is based on the quantum entanglement effect, is instantaneous, and is not limited by space. The sword in the same period has become part of the spacecraft. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で、and can also use the sword to use the original power of the spacecraft to attack and defend. She turned around and asked Temuai Guangwu, Are you ready? Let me demonstrate it to everyone. Please look over there. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、That's the main gun of the spaceship. We'll go over and take a look in a moment. Now we're going to use it to fire something, and then try our swords. Temuai Guangwu pressed a button on the disc, and everyone saw that a large stone flew out from the muzzle, and the searchlight beam tapped the huge stone away from the spacecraft. The Ideology Guang took the sword in his hand. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で、The sword drew several sword flowers on his head. Everyone saw through the glass cover of the spacecraft that the huge boulder outside was cut into several small pieces in space and flew away in all directions. Can I ask how powerful the sword is? A reporter asked. This sword is the sword of time and space. Order Naganua, or reply. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、Space mechanics. One sword can split an aircraft carrier into two pieces. Time mechanics. A sword can cut a 25-year-old man into an 8-year-old man, or a sword can cut a 25-year-old man into a 10-year-old child, she added. However, in order to use the sword's ability, you must first unlock this ability. Second, the spacecraft must have enough antimatter fuel to provide energy. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、 The person who uses the sword must be proficient in space-time swordsmanship. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で、What capabilities has the Huanqian unlocked in the current spaceship? チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で、The ideology Guam replied, First, let's talk about time and space navigation. In terms of space, the spacecraft travels in the solar system at speeds from 0 to more than the speed of light. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、We can access the past up to 20 years ago and go back safely. However, the spacecraft has not yet been unlocked for sailing into the future. Or in other words, we have not figured it out. Secondly, let's talk about the power of the sword. The three of us are all swordsmen who can control the original power. However, the mechanics of time have not yet been unlocked. In terms of space mechanics, the power of the sword is okay. If it's not enough, just use the main gun to hit it directly. Even if you encounter a space pirate ship, everyone's safety can be guaranteed. So everyone can rest assured. The reporter asked, Can I ask? Your swords are all inlaid with 7 color gems. What are their functions? To put it simply, one is to attack, and the other is to protect oneself from the other party's attack. The Idol Jiguang answered, How many swords like this are there? Were they bought by the spaceship? Can they be recast? The reporter asked. The Idol Jiguang replied, What we know now is what everyone has seen. There are 3 swords. My sword was inherited by the family, and the 2 swords were obtained by MUI Guangwu and Anian Songzu respectively. These swords belong to individuals and have nothing to do with the spaceship. She added, Because my swords are so old, I no longer know who made them. Countless people have tried to imitate them, but no one has succeeded. The swordsmith called himself Huaizii for those 2 swords. After the swords were made, it was said that traveled all over the world. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、Let's continue to introduce the spaceship's G-steward. The Huantia. The Idol Guang greeted everyone, sat back next to the disc, put his sword on it, and then flipped the switch. In the center of the console, a 3-dimensional image displayed by a laser appeared, showing an image of a person's back. If the passengers behind you can't see clearly, the large screen hanging above will also display the same content simultaneously. The Idol Guang said, The Huantia. The tourists and reporters are saying hello to you. They have some questions. Are you willing to answer them? チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で、Dear Captain, I am very happy to answer the questions of our guest. A machine-synthesized voice came from the speaker in the middle of the disc. Some people in the crowd were whispering to each other, and there was some commotion. Please be quiet. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、Please write down what you want to ask on a piece of paper and give it to Ananian Songzu. Later while Aurora said, Ananian Songzu, you are responsible for sorting it out and giving priority to the representative ones that everyone cares about. Leave it to me and I'll ask the questions. Beta Aurora said, Please pay attention. Here are the precautions. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、You can ask anything. However, the Huanyan's disclosure of information is divided into levels. Some of the content, even now, I can't get the answer to, because the premise of today's QA is that it is generally open to the public. The Huanyan will probably not answer sensitive information. The Ideology Guang continued to add, So, don't ask questions that the Huanyan doesn't want to say clearly. What the Huanyan can answer is not decided by itself, but the rule set by the people who created it. I hope everyone understands. Let's start with the questions. Neon Songzu handed over the first note, and the Ideology Guan asked, The Huanyan. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で、The Huanyan. Are you a man-made intelligent robot, or a creature that replaced your body with steel? Who made you? Or should I say, what kind of creature is your true form? The voice of the loudspeaker said, I am a man-made intelligent robot. Specifically, a manufactured steel robot. My intelligence comes from the core. Quantum computer. チャクラ島は南雲宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、I was not created by you humans. Back then, when the creator came to the solar system, he first created a civilization on Mars, which is what you call an environment suitable for biological survival on Mars. Among the diverse creatures, one is a highly civilized and intelligent creature like you humans. I was a tool made by the creator. You can understand it as a patrol boat used as a mobile tool or a tractor used for farm work when he created civilization. The Huantian added, 桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクのロケット発射基地で、桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクのロケット発射基地で、桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクのロケット発射基地で、After the creation of Mars civilization was completed, he left me behind. Who is the creator? LaoDi asked. What he said in my knowledge base, said his name is civilization. All I can provide is this information. Where did the creator go? Did he create civilization again? LaoDi asked. Where he went? I don't know. He didn't say. However, before he left, he said that he would leave the spaceship behind. In the future, descendants of civilized creatures can take this spaceship to see him. He is waiting for you to go. From this it is inferred that there should be civilizations created by him outside the solar system. Why do you say, outside the solar system? asked LaoDi. 桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクのロケット発射基地で、桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクのロケット発射基地で、Did he come to the Earth and create a civilization? The Huanqian replied, The Martian civilization he created is what I call the first generation of Martian civilization. The creatures of the first generation of Martian civilization were completely different from you Earthlings. The Huanqian explained that the creator never came back after he left. 桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクのロケット発射基地で、桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクのロケット発射基地で、And the emergence of the Earth civilization only happened after the first Martian civilization. Then any Unsungsu took the note and whispered to LaoDi. Everyone has a suggestion. We really want to know about the first Martian civilization. 桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクのロケット発射基地で、The amount of information today is a bit large, and they need time to digest it. Can you find another time and ask the Huanqian to introduce the first Martian civilization? I suggest you ask a small question today, and then give everyone a free tour on the deck. LaoDi explained the suggestion to the Huanqian, and the Huanqian readily agreed, no problem. I will compile the information about the first Martian civilization into a video and play it for you next time. And any Unsungsu saw that the Huanqian's words made the guests very excited, and said to LaoDi, the one who cares the most is the energy source of the spacecraft. Let's ask this question again today. 桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクがロケット発射基地で、Please be quiet. Regarding the first Martian civilization, we are just waiting for the Huanqian's video explanation. The following is the last question of the day. Please tell us about the energy source of the spacecraft. LaoDi said. The Huanqian replied, The spacecraft can use these fuels, fossil fuels. 桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクがロケット発射基地で、桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクがロケット発射基地で、And antimatter fuels. Antimatter fuel is produced on board the spacecraft, but it is the most important source of energy. The engine of time navigation can only use antimatter fuel, and the same can be said for the small universe. And the original power, although this cannon can launch various substances, not only traditional artillery shells and rockets, but also people. 桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクがロケット発射基地で、And electromagnetic beams. However, if it encounters an opponent of the same level in a space war, it will be the most powerful. It's an antimatter projectile. 桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクがロケット発射基地で、which is the third underground floor. The three floor has an energy supply factory. There are many robots and other intelligent equipment in it, which are responsible for mining it. When the spacecraft flies over the sea, it can extract nuclear fusion fuel from seawater. It's also possible on the lunar surface. In addition to fuel, there are many other ores that need to be harvested from the surface or mines. 桜島は南雲宇宙開発グリルクがロケット発射基地で、There is also a processing and production chain of fuel and ore. チャプラ島はマグモ宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で、The materials are also produced there. In addition, fresh water, fertilizers, and all the necessary industrial and agricultural raw materials such as steel are produced there. The energy system on the spacecraft is basically like this. However, the bottom layer of the spacecraft is the area with the highest security level on the spacecraft, and it cannot be generally open to visitors. This is very regrettable. Thank you to Huan-chan. You have worked hard today. BIW Jiguang said. Today's explanation and QA are here. After the disbandment, everyone can visit freely on the deck. BIW Jiguang said. We will also have a main gun gunning performance. And everyone is welcome to watch. チャクラ島はマグモ宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で。The three of us will be on the deck with everyone. If you have any questions, you can ask us at any time. After BIW Jiguang announced the disbandment, MUIE Guangwu hurried over. Trouble is coming. Nanian Sungzu asked. What's wrong? Japan. Hanlon continent. Far North no continent. Inca continent. And the Miga continent have invited us to attend their national delegation's private dinner and dance tonight. What should we do? BIW Jiguang said. We can just attend one of them. That way, there won't be enough for 3 people. チャクラ島はマグモ宇宙開発グループのロケット発射基地で。They really want to invite BIW Jiguang. MUIE Guangwu looked at Nanian Sungzu with a pleading look. Think of a way. Nanian Sungzu thought for a while and said, although we are small, we are also the Grand Duchy of Seashell. How about this? Tonight, the Grand Duchy of Seashell will host a dinner and dance on the deck to entertain all passengers. When setting up the venue, set up a small VIP area to entertain the dignitaries of each country. What do you think? This plan is good. It provides them with the social venue they need. And this is what we should. MUIE Guangwu said. BIW Jiguang. What do you think? I think it's good. Let's do it this way. Hearing that, BIW Jiguang also agreed. MUIE Guangwu said, I will be responsible for setting up the venue. And Nanian Sungzu said to BIW Jiguang, I will go to the delegations of various countries to say hello and bring the list of VIPs. You can broadcast the notice now. And then go back to your room and choose the most beautiful clothes to change into. チャプラ島はマグモ宇宙開発グループがロケット発射基地で。Don't play this white one. Let the president of the Amiga continent think that you are his waiter. Show the charm of our Martian beauty.